One of the most powerful surface warships ever constructed in the UK, HMS Queen Elizabeth forms part of the Royal Navy's two-strong fleet of Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers. This British aircraft carrier was deployed to carry out the operation and began arriving in enemy waters on full alert to anticipate worsening rebel actions. So, how efficient is this fifth-generation carrier? And what are its main specifications? What are its latest missions? Stick on as we are going to unravel everything that you need to know about this huge British battleship. So before we dive into the video, hit subscribe for a front row so that you won't miss out on our interesting contents and be a part of our community. HMS Queen Elizabeth is an investment in Britain's security, prosperity, and place in the world. As well as being a powerful deterrent and symbol of British influence, HMS Queen Elizabeth will replace HMS Ocean as the Royal Navy's fleet flagship. As the fleet's principal ship, it will carry senior naval staff, receive foreign dignitaries, and act as a command and control center for the entire Royal Navy. The Queen Elizabeth-class ships were designed to form a fast squadron for the fleet that was intended to operate against the leading ships of the opposing battle line. This required maximum offensive power and a speed several knots faster than any other battleship to allow them to defeat any type of ship. Queen Elizabeth had a length overall of 639 feet 9 inches, that is, around 195 meters, a beam of 90 feet 7 inches, and a deep draft of 33 feet. It had a normal displacement of 32,590 long tons and displaced 33,260 long tons at deep load. It was powered by two sets of Parsons steam turbines, each driving two shafts using steam from 24 Babcock and Wilcox boilers. The turbines were rated at 75,000 shaft horsepower, around 56,000 kilowatts, and intended to reach a maximum speed of 25 knots, that is 46.3 kilometers per hour. The ship had a range of 5,000 nautical miles, around 9,260 kilometers, at a cruising speed of 12 knots. Its crew numbered 1,162 officers and ratings in 1920 while serving as a flagship. The Queen Elizabeth class was equipped with 8 breech-loading 15-inch around 381mm Mach-E guns in 4 twin-gun turrets in 2 super-firing pairs fore and aft of the superstructure, designated A, B, X, and Y from front to rear. 12 of the 14 BL 6-inch around 152mm Mk Fartkalvny guns were mounted in casemates along the broad side of the vessel amidships. The remaining pair were mounted on the forecastle deck near the aft funnel and were protected by gun shields. The anti-aircraft armament known as AA were composed of 2 quick-firing 3-inch 20 Submarines MGI guns. The ships were fitted with 4 submerged 21-inch around 533mm torpedo tubes, 2 on each broadside. Queen Elizabeth was completed with 2 fire control directors fitted with 15-foot around 4.6-meter rangefinders. One was mounted above the conning tower, protected by an armored hood, and the other was in the spotting top above the tripod foremast. Each turret was also fitted with a 15-foot rangefinder. The main armament could be controlled by a B turret as well. The secondary armament was primarily controlled by directors, mounted on each side of the compass platform on the foremast once they were fitted in March 1917, although one temporary director was fitted in November-December 1916. The waterline belt of the Queen Elizabeth class consisted of Krupp-cemented armor called KC that was 13 inches thick over the ship's vitals. The gun turrets were protected by 11 to 13 inches, around 279 to 330 millimeters of KC armor, and were supported by barbettes 7-10 inches thick. The ships had multiple armored decks that ranged from 1 to 3 inches in thickness. The main conning tower was protected by 13 inches of armor. After the Battle of Jutland, 1 inch of high-tensile steel was added to the main deck over the magazines, and additional anti-flash equipment was added in the magazines. Between 1919 and 1927, Queen Elizabeth underwent numerous modifications, including the enlargement of the foremast top. Rangefinders were installed on the gun turrets B and X, as well as high-angle rangefinders at the forward wheelhouse. Another high-angle rangefinder was installed at the forward conning tower. The 3-inch guns were replaced by 4-inch guns. Radio direction finding equipment was installed at the aft end of the command platform with antenna above the helm station. The bridge superstructure was modified and funnels were combined into one unit. Furthermore, the superstructures for accommodating signal personnel and equipment were extended, and the yards on the foremast were removed. In its 1937 to 1941 era, it was rebuilt. It was fitted with a tower bridge in place of her old bridge. Around 6-inch guns were removed and replaced by 20x 4.5-inch guns in 10 double turrets and several smaller anti-aircraft guns. Horizontal armor was added, and engines and boilers were replaced. The elevation of its main battery was increased to 30 degrees. Deck armor was increased to 5 inches over the magazines, 2.5 inches over the machinery, while the new 4.5-inch guns had between 1 and 2 inches of armor. To receive facilities for aircraft with a launching catapult amidships, new fire control equipment was installed, including the HMS Mk4AA fire control system and the Admiralty Fire Control Table Mk7 for surface fire control of the main armament. This reconstruction was completed in January 1941, when Britain had been at war for over a year. The ship was fitted with flying-off platforms mounted on the roofs of B and X turrets by February 1919, from which fighters and reconnaissance aircraft could launch. The platform was removed from X turret during its 1926 to 1927 refit. The other platform was removed sometime later. Now, Britain is set to deploy either HMS Queen Elizabeth or HMS Prince of Wales into the Gulf amid Houthi attacks on shipping to the Red Sea. The government's armed forces minister has indicated that the UK could send an aircraft carrier to the Red Sea when the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, an American carrier currently present in the region, returns home. The USS Eisenhower has been stationed in the Red Sea since the Houthis, a Shia Islamist group linked to Hamas, started attacking ships in October 2023. The UK has issued land-based Royal Air Force Typhoons in response. Flying over 3,000 miles from Cyprus to attack Houthi targets in Yemen. However, the two British aircraft carriers currently in service, HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Prince of Wales, remain docked in Portsmouth. In conclusion, HMS Queen Elizabeth, Britain's €3 billion aircraft carrier, may be sent to the region as part of the carrier strike group known as CSG, which includes modern warships, submarines, helicopters, and fifth-generation fighters. So, what do you think of this breech-loaded beast? Will it be able to bring victory for its upcoming mission? Let us know in the comment section below. And that wraps up today's content. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so that you won't miss out on our future contents.